Hippogriff, half eagle, half horse, and 100% ego. This creature is the wizarding world's ultimate lesson in manners. You don't tame a hippogriff. You ask permission not to die. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Hagrid introduces Buckbeak with one simple rule: bow first. Not because it's tradition, but because a hippogriff treats disrespect like an unforgivable curse. They're enormous, Thestral in flight, talons sharp enough to tear through enchanted armor like parchment, and yet disturbingly intelligent. A hippogriff reads body language better than a ministry interrogator. Fear? Bad. Arrogance? Worse. Looking away too fast? Congratulations, you've just insulted a creature that remembers faces. And here's the irony: they can fly faster than a school broom, but prefer to walk with dignity. They can kill, but choose loyalty. Which means Buckbeak wasn't dangerous, Draco's attitude was. Respect the creature, or become a footnote in magical accidents and catastrophes. And if you think pride is deadly, wait until you meet a creature that kills you just by being seen. Basilisk. This isn't just a snake. This is what happens when dark wizards ask, what if death had a pet? The basilisk is born from a chicken's egg, hatched under a toad. Yes, even its origin is illegal. In Chamber of Secrets, Salazar Slytherin hid one beneath Hogwarts itself, because nothing says school spirit like a murder serpent in the plumbing. Its body stretches longer than the Great Hall. Its venom can kill faster than a killing curse. And its gaze? Instant death. No warning, no spell casting, just eye contact, and you're done. Unless you're lucky. Or unlucky. Looking through a mirror? Petrified. Through a camera? Petrified. Through water? Still petrified. The basilisk doesn't hunt with speed. It hunts with inevitability. You don't fight it, you survive it by accident. And yet, as terrifying as this monster is, at least it kills you quickly. The next creature? It sings first. Merpeople, beautiful myths, brutal reality. If you're imagining elegant witches of the sea, congratulations, you've already fallen for the trap. Wizarding merpeople are not fairy tales. They're territorial, aggressive, and deeply offended by surface dwellers who assume they're friendly. In Goblet of Fire, the second task introduces them properly, not as helpers, but as judges. Armed, watching, and absolutely ready to let a champion drown if the rules are broken. Up close, they're nothing like the paintings. Gray skin, sharp teeth, eyes that look less curious and more disappointed in your life choices. Their singing doesn't lure you, it disorients you. Underwater, it sounds beautiful. Above water, it's pure horror. And that's the point. They don't hunt with claws or venom. They let the lake do the work. The real danger isn't the merpeople, it's thinking they're harmless. Because deep underwater, there are things with more legs than mercy. Acromantula. Too many legs, too much intelligence. Spiders are bad. Giant spiders are worse. Now imagine one that can talk and negotiate your execution. The Acromantula is not a beast. It's a civilization with fangs. Bred by dark wizards and outlawed by the Ministry, these creatures grow larger than Hagrid's hut and smarter than most Hogwarts students. They don't hunt alone. They hunt as families. In Chamber of Secrets, Aragog doesn't attack Harry and Ron. He discusses it, politely, while hundreds of his children reposition themselves for dinner. Their venom can paralyze instantly. Their silk can restrain fully grown wizards. And their loyalty? Exclusive. They won't eat Hagrid. Everyone else is negotiable. The horror isn't the size, it's the intelligence. Because this creature understands fear and enjoys waiting for it. But what if the most terrifying monster is the one you can't even see? Thestral. Most students at Hogwarts think the carriages move by magic. They're wrong. They're being pulled by Thestrals. And the reason you can't see them is worse than you think. A Thestral only appears to witches and wizards who have witnessed death and truly understood it. Not heard about it, not read it in Hogwarts a history, seen it, processed it. In Order of the Phoenix, Harry sees them after Cedric Diggory dies, not because death happened, but because it finally landed. Physically, Thestrals look like nightmares with wings, skeletal bodies, leathery skin, eyes that don't judge. They already know. And here's the cruel irony. They're gentle, loyal, and incredibly intelligent. The real monster isn't the Thestral. It's the trauma required to meet one. But trauma doesn't always come quietly. Sometimes, it howls at the moon. Werewolf. Most creatures in the wizarding world hunt you. This one waits for you to fall asleep, and then uses your body. Lycanthropy isn't a gift, it's a sentence. Once bitten, the transformation is inevitable. Every full moon. No potion strong enough to stop it, only to dull the damage. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Remus Lupin shows the truth most textbooks skip. He isn't violent by nature, he's brilliant, kind, and still loses control completely. Bones break, muscles twist, human thought shuts down. A transformed werewolf doesn't recognize friends or enemies, only movement. And here's the cruelty. When morning comes, you remember everything. Every howl, every scar you caused. The Ministry fears werewolves, but the real horror isn't the claws. It's waking up human again. And yet, some creatures don't wait for the moon. They bring the fire themselves.
Dragon. Dragons are not creatures. They're disasters with wings. Every culture in the wizarding world agrees on one thing. If you see a dragon, someone already made a terrible decision. In Goblet of Fire, the Triwizard Tournament treats dragons like a sporting challenge, which is adorable. Because each species can melt stone, incinerate shields, and shred trained aurors in seconds. Their scales resist most spells. Their fire burns hotter than Fiendfire light, and their intelligence? High enough to recognize traps and enjoy breaking them. You don't duel a dragon, you survive one, briefly, while it decides whether you're amusing. That's why Gringotts uses them as guards. Not because they're loyal, because they're uncontrollable. And that's the real fear. Dragons don't hate you, they don't fear you, they simply don't care. But even fire obeys one rule. Everything that burns eventually turns to ash. And from ash, something rises. Phoenix. After all the monsters, the venom, the claws, and the fire, the wizarding world leaves us with this. A phoenix doesn't fight to survive. It dies. On purpose. When its body weakens, it doesn't rot or fade. It ignites, bursts into flame, and collapses into ash. And then, it comes back. In the films, Fox proves that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it heals. Phoenix tears cure basilisk venom. Its song strengthens courage. Its loyalty is absolute, but only to those who truly earn it. Physically, it's fragile. Talons? Weak. Fire? Controlled. Yet it terrifies dark wizards more than dragons ever could. Because you can't defeat something that treats death as a reset button. The Phoenix isn't about destruction, it's about defiance. In a world full of creatures that kill, this one reminds you why magic exists. Not to dominate death, but to rise from it. Night Fury. Just the name sounds like a bedtime story, written by someone who hates sleep. In How to Train Your Dragon, this is the dragon everyone fears and no one understands. If you made it this far, cast a spell on that subscribe button, drop a like, ring the bell, and tell me which magical creature you'd like to see next.